guys, I got like so many videos I gotta put out. I just haven't had time. One iced caramel macchiato because I was lazy Bone Jones to get out of bed, and I pushed the snooze button a little too much. So, dang it. Hold on. But, today's only a half day at work. Because it's Good Friday. I think because of the gray right here, it makes my look like off. Or whatever. But, you know me. I had my craving. So for lunch, I'm eating early because I'm getting off early and I gotta go to the dentist. So I'm eating some ranch and chicken nuggets. Chicken strips. Father God, thank you for this food and thank you for all my blessings. And just thank you for today. And bless all my friends and all my families. And I want to lift them up and just watch over them and protect them and keep them safe. In Jesus' holy gracious name. Amen. I gotta use these glasses. Because I go like this is for up close. I go like this for distance. But the clarity in the distance is great. Oh. Little lady was all scratched up and she had a little bandage on her arm. She's unsteady on her feet. Oh. I couldn't work. I have. I can't do it anymore. Senior facility. I do it in-home health care. Takes a special type of person to be able to do that. And I ain't one of them. I take my work home. I worry about people and rewarding though. I had worked for a senior care long time ago. And I got hired and they put me in with a couple, a married couple. Mr. and Mrs. Knox. She had dementia. He was senility. The first day I took him out, he was okay. I was supposed to take him out to get stuff to eat, do some errands, just get him out together, which I did. And the first day, the closer I kept getting back to the place, I'm like, okay, well, I gotta take you back now. They both got really sad. And I'm like, you have full conversations with him. her, she would go in and out. Adorable little couple. Anyways, I brought him back the first day, and I just got really sad. And then when I left, I got back in the car, and she had forgot something. I don't remember what it was. I brought it back in there. And it was a memory care facility, dementia, so it was a lockdown. So you had to have codes to get in and out. So they buzzed me back in. And I went walking back to where they're at. They could stay in the same facility, but they couldn't sleep in the same room. Guys and girls could not, even husband and wife. But they could see each other, you know, every day. And so when I walked back in there, it was day, so I could spend all day with each other. And they had cats there and everything. I had walked back in, and I looked at them, and they were both crying. I was like, what happened? So I went over and I sat down with them. And I said, oh my gosh, what's wrong? What happened? And they said, we don't want to be here. They're mean. And I was like, oh my God. So I'm already in my head trying to think, oh my God, how am I going to bust them out of here? All right, we're going to go rational. You know, how can I get their family's info? So I told him, I said, don't, rest assured I'm coming back. I meet with you guys every day. Well, anyways, every day she got worse. I remember one time I went, it was like the third day I worked for him. I'm talking with my mouth full. As once again, I'm in a hurry. Had to go get gas. So they were in my car. I picked him up, went straight to the gas station. He goes, I'm like, the rearview mirror, he was in the back. He was class A action man. He was just like epitome of what a gentleman is. Sweet, kind, as old as they were, he still opened her door, made sure her seatbelt was on. Just class act right there. I'm looking through the river, man. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get gas right now. Mr. Knox, you want to help me? He's like, yeah. So he gets out of the car and I'm putting gas in. He's trying to help because, you know, of course, they don't let me do it. I'm like, it's okay, I can do it. He goes, you don't understand. I got to talk to you. I really got to talk to you. And he was like nervous wreck. And I'm like, what? And he goes, my wife was cheating on me. I'm like, what? Yeah. She's going in another men's room. Like, I can't do this. You got to help me. I'm like, what? He goes, yes. And I'm like, meanwhile, I go, Mrs. Knox looking out the rearview mirror like, she was smart. She might have had dementia, but that girl, she knew something was going on. So I got her eyeballing me. And he's freaking out because his wife's cheating. And I'm like, he goes, yes, men are going in her room and she's going in another men's room. I can't have that happen. I said, well, I know you guys ain't happy, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to my work and then see if there's any way we can contact your family, your kids. And then he had 3 daughters, and one he hated. He told me the whole thing. I was just going to say her name. I shouldn't do that. Anyways, so around Halloween time, I had taken a day off. And this was, it was around Halloween anyways, but it was closer to Halloween. I took a day off. And then the next day I went to work, and my work told me Mr. Knox went off on the girl, like, who showed up. Like, he was like, "Where's Donnie? She made her so upset that she had to take them back. I'm like, no, that's not Mr. Knox, because Mr. Knox would never treat a lady like that. And just so happens, I guess he was so upset that it was not me that he ended up being not like physical, but very like, I just take me back. Well, he loved hamburgers, and he loved ice cream, and he loved motorcycles. And then I would listen to him and his wife's stories, and I would take him to where they used to live, and they would tell me where his friends would live and all that good stuff. So I listened to him. I treated them like human beings, which they are. But I took the job home at night. And one day I went back, and I'm like, I'm here to pick up Mr. and Mrs. Knox. And they're like, well, Mrs. Knox is not going to be able to go. I'm like, why? And they're like, well, she's had a stroke, we think. And I'm like, oh. So I went back there, and sure enough, Mr. Knox was sitting right by his wife. And oh, let me tell you this. That day when she was eyeballing me, I got back in the car. Yeah, you know what she told me? I get back in the car and get my seatbelt on, and she looks over at me and she goes, "You're going to die in January." And I was like, huh? And she goes, "Yeah, you're going to die in January." I was like, what the frick? What do you mean I'm going to die in January? I didn't say that, but I was thinking in my head, what is that? She's going to kill me? Never knew what that meant. I think she was just upset in her head and her dementia that I was talking to her husband, and I got eyeballed through the rearview mirror, or the side mirror. And yeah, so that was a real treat. Loved her to death. But so anyways, I go back there, and Mr. Knox is sitting with Mrs. Knox, and she was actually babbling. She was like, "Mom, mom, 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 mom," and you could see she was desperately trying to talk to me, but she was like, "Mom, mom, 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 mom," and he's like, "What do I do? What do I do?" She ended up passing a couple days later, and they were only there because of her being in the lockdown facility. So when he passed away, or she passed away, he went into another senior facility, but it was he could come and go as he wanted. It wasn't locked down. But he totally, you know, anyways, it was actually October, November, it was the end of October, and then she passed about a week later, in November sometime, and then he made it, because I know it was around Christmas. So I know that they were waiting to have her funeral, and he was just, so I remember, anyways, he was in the facility. We went and got stuff to decorate his room, and I'll never forget it. Of course, he's hurting inside because he lost his wife, but he was like, I had decorated, and he says, "You know what? You're all right." And I was like, "What?" He goes, "You're a good person." Because I had decorated this whole thing, and I'm like, you know, and I would be like, instead of being like 3 hours, I was like full day with him. And I remember when after she had the stroke, before he got in that facility, I had took him out to get a shake, and he started having stomach aches. So I ended up taking him back, and ended up having to go to the hospital. And like a few weeks later, because I didn't take him, I wouldn't go to the hospital and visit because his family would be there and stuff. But I had went to I went and picked him up when he got out of the hospital a few weeks later, and he was like, "You know, your shake you went and got me almost killed me." And I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, your shake." I'm like, "Oh my God." So I was like, well, maybe it's the sugar, that you can't have the sugar. And so long story short, I started giving him like sugar-free stuff. Well, go to Christmas. So I decorate his room. He tells me I'm an awesome person. I told him he's an awesome person. I took a picture of him because he radiated this beautiful smile. And I told him that day, I says, "I know you're hurting about your wife. Would you want to write a letter? I'll write a letter for you." And he goes, "Yes, yes." So, because they were getting ready to have her funeral. So he wrote this beautiful letter for his wife. And the next day I came to pick him up, and I said, are you okay? You don't look, because he's real flushed. And he goes, no, I'm not feeling too good. I just kind of think maybe I want to stay in today. And I'm like, well, okay. I said, are you sure? And he says, yeah, I really need to stay in today. And I said, okay, well, are you sure? It'd probably be best if you get out. So he said, okay, alrighty. So we got out, and I said, we're going to go get you some jeans. You know, we'll go get you something to eat, you know, something light. And so we get there, and he ordered pancakes. He goes, I'll eat some pancakes. And I remember him going like this to the butter. I'm like, no, that's butter. And he goes, I know. Like he knew. And he started feeling sick immediately after. And I told him I'd take him to the hospital, and well, his doctors, and the doctor says you need to take him to the hospital because he was throwing up at that point and diarrhea and the whole bit. So I took him to the hospital, or the doctors, and then they told me, can you take him over to the hospital, which was right across the street? And I said, yeah. So I took him over there. He was like quick. He wanted to get there fast. He did not feel good. And so we rushed him over there. They admitted him really quick. We brought him upstairs. He got his gown on, and it was a pride thing. Like he was going to the bathroom a whole lot, and I didn't want to embarrass him. But I had left, and I had called the facility to call his family to get him over there because he wasn't feeling good. And then I waited and waited, and then I peeked my head back in there, and he was still having the diarrhea. And it was still a pride thing. Men don't want to have a woman that they care about and trust in there watching that. So, long story short, I had waited. I was going to wait till the family got there. I was going to let him rest, and I called later that night to ask if, I go, can I get a Mr. Knox's nurses station? And they says, well, we don't have anybody by that name here. And I'm like, I brought him there. And they're like, no, we don't have anybody by that name. He ended up passing that night with, he aspirated on vomit. To this day, that shit kills me. He's a good man. And I took him for his last meal. Dang it, man. This is why I can't do senior facilities. Because that's freaking 10 years ago. And it still just gets me. But I'll see Mr. Knox again and Mrs. Knox. Even though she wanted me killed in January. But he was like a grandpa to me, and I'll forever always remember him and his smile and his kindness and his epitome of what a man should be. But with that being said, dang it, didn't plan all that. But he was I'll show you a picture of him. I took that picture with him, that smile that day. I'll show you, but I got to get to work, guys. I can't go crying. Love you, Tiddle Noodles, Ostapasta, Later Gator, Big Meatball loves and hugs. Bye, guys.